Welcome to Listen English Story. Hello everyone. Today, I want to share an incredible journey about how learning English changed my life. This is not just my story, it could be yours too. If you have big dreams, whether you want to be a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, a business person, or anything great, you need English. There's no question about it. English is spoken by over 1.3 billion people worldwide. It is the language of education, business, travel, and the internet. Without English, many doors remain closed. But don't worry, you can start today, and I promise your life will never be the same again. My name is Perry, and I am from Brazil. I was born in a small town where life was simple. We were neither rich nor poor, just an ordinary middle-class family. My father, Daniel, was a bus driver, and my mother, Maria, was a school teacher. They worked tirelessly to give my younger brother, Lucas, and me a good life. We never had luxuries, but we had dreams. Ever since I was a little girl, I had one dream: to become a doctor. I still remember the day that changed my life forever. I was 10 years old when my younger brother fell seriously ill. He had a high fever, and my parents were extremely worried. We rushed him to the local hospital, and there I saw something extraordinary. A doctor, calm and confident, examined my brother, reassured my crying mother, and within hours, my brother's fever subsided. Watching him work with such knowledge and kindness made me realize what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. That day, I decided I would become a doctor and save lives. As I grew older, I became more determined. But then, reality hit me hard. If I wanted to study medicine, I needed English 100%. All medical books, research, and university courses required English. Even in my own country, hospitals preferred doctors who knew English well. The problem? My English was terrible. I went to a public school where English was barely taught. I knew basic words like hello and thank you, but when I saw full sentences, I felt lost. One day, my English teacher asked me to read aloud in class. I looked at the book, and the words blurred together. My heart pounded. I don't know, miss, I whispered. The class laughed. That day, I went home and locked myself in my room, feeling ashamed. How will I ever become a doctor if I can't even read a simple English sentence? I thought. But deep inside, I knew giving up was not an option. One evening, my father sat beside me and asked, "Perry, you've been quiet these days. What's wrong?" Tears filled my eyes. "Papa, I want to be a doctor, but my English is bad. Without English, I can't study medicine." My father thought for a while and then said, "If English is stopping you, then go to a place where everyone speaks English." I was shocked. "But, Papa, we don't have money for that." He smiled. "We don't have much, but we have enough. Your dreams matter." That night, we discussed my future. After researching, we decided on Canada. It had excellent education opportunities, native English speakers, and was more affordable than the UK or the US. It was a tough decision. My parents had some savings, but not much. They sacrificed everything, using their life savings for my plane ticket, English course, and initial expenses. Before I left, my mother held my hand and said, "Harry, we are giving you all we have. Promise me you won't give up." With tears in my eyes, I hugged her. "I promise, Mama." Then, with just one suitcase, a few dollars, and a big dream, I boarded a flight to Toronto, Canada. When I landed, I felt like a stranger in a new world. The weather was different, the food was strange, and the people spoke too fast. But the biggest challenge: English. At the airport, a man asked, "Do you need a taxi?" I panicked. I didn't understand. I just smiled and nodded. Then he asked, "Where to?" I froze. My mind went blank. Finally, I just showed him the address on my phone. That night, in my small rented room, I cried. What am I doing here? I don't understand anything. The next day, I attended my English language school. The teacher smiled and said, "Welcome, everyone. Let's introduce ourselves." When my turn came, my hands trembled. My name, Perry. I from Brazil. I wanted to say more, but my brain shut down. Some students giggled. I felt humiliated, but determined. From that day, I made a promise. I would learn English. I created a plan. Headphone trick. I pretended to be on a phone call, talking to myself in English while walking around Toronto. 3 new words daily. I learned 3 new words and used them in sentences. No more subtitles. I watched movies without subtitles, forcing myself to listen. Speak no matter what. I spoke to shopkeepers, strangers, and classmates, even when I made mistakes. One day, I walked into a cafe, took a deep breath, and ordered, "1 cappuccino, please." The barista asked, "With almond or regular milk?" I understood. I smiled and replied, "Regular milk, please." It was a small moment, but for me, it was a huge victory. Over time, I stopped translating in my head. One day, a cashier asked, "Do you need a bag?" Without thinking, I said, "No, I have one, thanks." At that moment, I realized I was thinking in English. After months of hard work, I passed the English proficiency test and got into medical school. The journey wasn't easy. I worked part-time to pay my bills, missed home, and struggled, but I never gave up. Years later, I graduated as Dr. Perry Silva. Today, I work in a top hospital in Vancouver, earning more than I ever imagined. I went from a small-town girl who couldn't understand English to a doctor saving lives in a foreign country. If you're struggling with English, here's my advice. Speak every day, even alone. Think in English. Stop translating. Talk to native speakers. Even if it's scary, surround yourself with English. Change your phone, music, and movies. Never fear mistakes. They help you grow. Most importantly, never give up. English changed my life, and it can change yours too. Start today, and your future self will thank you.